Most plants play by a strict set of biological rules. They use flat green leaves to capture sunlight for energy, and they drive their complex root systems deep into the soil to pull up essential nutrients, like nitrogen. But carnivorous plants violently break those rules. Instead of passively absorbing soil nutrients, they actively hunt, snapping shut on complex animal prey to extract what they need from flesh and chitin. Which raises a fairly obvious question. If digesting animals is an effective way to gather nutrients, why aren't there carnivorous oak trees or predatory weeds taking over our lawns? To figure that out, we have to stop looking at these plants as unstoppable apex predators and start looking at them as organisms trapped in a brutal metabolic budget. These flesh-eating species evolved in highly specific ecosystems, like bogs and fens. These are areas bathed in direct, intense sunlight and constantly saturated with water. But that water washes away the chemical building blocks of life. The soil in these environments contains practically zero essential nutrients, specifically nitrogen and phosphorus. If you drop a normal root-feeding plant into a bog, it will quickly die. The absolute lack of soil nutrition puts standard plants into a state of perpetual starvation. The high energy cost of building a trap is a metabolic burden these plants carry solely because their environment offers no other path to survival. A standard plant leaf is essentially a solar panel. Its flat, wide surface area is optimized to catch as many incoming photons as possible to power photosynthesis. When a plant curls and thickens that leaf into a three-dimensional trap, it loses a massive amount of that solar-capturing surface area. On top of that, it now has to burn precious energy to manufacture nectar, grow trigger hairs, and secrete digestive enzymes. This chart plots a plant's energy cost against total growth. In a completely nutrient-dead environment, investing energy into a trap eventually pays off with a net positive return. But in nutrient-rich soil, the curve flattens out. A cheap, flat leaf drastically outpaces an expensive trap. Carnivory only pays off when the ground offers absolutely nothing. It is an evolutionary last resort. To survive that absolute zero nutrient deficit, plants have engineered 5 distinct mechanical strategies to capture prey. Pitfall traps use a slippery inner rim to drop insects into a deep pool of enzymes, slowly dissolving them. Flypaper traps rely on actively moving tentacles tipped with sticky mucilage to ensnare and suffocate their catch. Snap traps rely on biomechanical hair triggers. When an insect brushes them, the internal lobes rapidly invert from convex to concave, sealing shut instantly. Bladder traps operate underwater, pumping fluid out to create a vacuum. When triggered, a tiny valve springs open to instantly suck in microscopic organisms. And lobster pot traps force their prey through an inescapable subterranean corkscrew of inward-pointing hairs. These 5 mechanisms rely on completely different laws of physics and biology, but they all execute the exact same metabolic function, replacing the roots. Genetic sequencing has revealed that these complex traps did not emerge from a single common ancestor. Instead, botanical carnivory evolved completely independently at least 12 distinct times across disparate plant families all over the globe. Charles Darwin spent 16 years studying these species in his greenhouse. He realized these insect-eating plants shared identical behaviors without sharing a direct genetic lineage. 12 independent lineages arriving at the same predatory strategy suggests that when the environment offers zero nutrients, nature consistently defaults to this expensive trade-off. Which brings us back to why carnivorous oak trees don't exist. If you plant a Venus flytrap in a normal, nutrient-rich garden, it won't dominate. Standard plants, which aren't wasting massive amounts of energy building elaborate insect traps, will rapidly outgrow it. They will steal the sunlight, overshade the flytrap, and kill it in fair competition. Carnivorous plants are highly fragile specialists clinging to the absolute margins of existence. They only thrive where nothing else can survive. But human intervention is rapidly closing that margin. Agricultural runoff and industrial pollution are pumping massive amounts of artificial nitrogen into the environment. As this nitrogen infiltrates the bog, it breaks the nutrient scarcity that previously kept competing weeds at bay. With nutrients suddenly available in the water, typical fast-growing species can finally survive the bog. They invade the habitat and outcompete the indigenous carnivorous plants for sunlight. The extreme biological specialization that allowed carnivorous plants to survive millions of years of starvation is now the exact vulnerability driving them toward extinction in a human-altered world.